Welcome back, viewers. We finished on the last question on local businesses marketing on TV. Now, I'd like to ask you another question. I'd like to share with an observation which many of my viewers may agree with me. It seems like the cunning advertisement works better. Is it a new trend, and why is this? Can you please shed some light on this for us?
Talking about funny advertisement.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean there is. I don't know. I mean it is probably a trend. I mean recently the Google, the YouTube has launched some study materials, and it shows that in terms of the most hit, most people accessing like YouTube channels and subscribers, those are which are providing funny and interesting materials. Those people are getting more subscriber and more hits. YouTube, of course, is a leading leader in that social media and the visual media.
Yeah.
And naturally, over the years, I mean, as you can remember, all the funny advertisement, or the surprising advertisement, you know, we remember those ones. You know, for example, in Bangladesh, there is an advertisement for a Philips bulb. You know that somebody is eating Ilish mas. Yes, I would say that there is a trend, and that trend is not only just among the Bangladeshi community, but also in the mainstream media as well. There is a trend of making the advertisement funny. Now, there is a theory about advertisement. One theory is that, you know, in a knife, it's one-sided sharp side. You know, so it goes. And then when either it cuts when it goes and come back, and then it goes back again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But advertisement is a two-sided knives. It has to cut both way. So it has to start. It works from the moment it starts. So the funny advertisement, what happens is that one, by being funny, by being inquisitive, they immediately draw the attention. And then they deliver their message as a tagline. And when we buy, when we come to a situation when, for example, an accident management company, you know, somebody has an accident, okay, and they now have a choice who to call. So, for example, they need to call an accident management. Immediately, their brain will search which one I'm going to go. Then they will think about if it is a funny thing, you know, for example, a company which has a funny advertisement, a funny something, then they will remember it much more faster. I mean, you can imagine, I mean, there are funny stories from our younghood, I mean, when we were in school, or an advertisement we saw a long time ago, but still we can remember that. So that is one theory. There's another theory is coming, is emotional. Emotional. I mean, there are a lot of big companies now are basing on emotional stories. For example, Google, Amazon, you know, Amazon's recent advertisement, Google's recent Indian advertisement where somebody from Delhi and from Lahore, you know, the partition issue came up. So it's really depend on your product as well, and how you want to portray it. I mean, today I saw advertisement in Bangladesh, advertisement for a locally made a double-door fridge, but that was made very nice and sophisticatedly. A woman is opening a lot of shopping, and that they're trying to put it in the. It's beautiful, and I thought that works. But for example, if you wanted to upgrade your mobile phone or using a mobile phone, a lot of funny advertisement in terms of buying or selling your car or selling your motorbike. I mean, they will save a lot. They are funny. It's depending on the subject matter as well.
No, I find that very interesting, actually, especially the fact that, you know, something that's funny is there to catch the audience's, the viewers' attention, and then delivering your message. But alongside that, you're actually attaching some sort of emotion to it.
Absolutely.
And that's magic to me. You know, that is the key element of advertisement.
Absolutely.
Taking the audience's attention, attaching emotion to it, and then selling your product.
But one study I have read, somebody in again in the Bangladeshi context, but one company, they did research on that matter, and they came to the conclusion that some funny advertisement is so funny that the whole message of the product has been lost on the funny side of it. So you have to really make a right balance in terms of how much funny it is, and then you have to consider that whether it is overselling or overpowering the message that you want to sell
You
about
try
the
to
product.
yeah.
So the one word that we need to be very careful is overpowering, that it should marriage to each other. The fun bit has to go alongside the
Yeah,
point,
but not overpower
not to
the actual message.
overpower. The other thing is very important is the values, that social values. We all, a society has their social norms and values, and we cannot hinder it. I mean, I know one advertisement where it was a bit controversial in a sense, that it disrespect the home cooking or disrespect the elders, you know. So we have to be very careful. I mean, sometimes cruelty to animal, disrespecting, racist view, those are not taken very lightly. People get very serious about this.
Yeah.
So you can do a fun, but you cannot make a fun in the expense of others.
Okay,
It has
yeah,
to be really.
that's understandable,
Self-deprecation is right, okay, it's fine, but as I said, there has to be right balance.
Yeah. Okay, viewers, here's some advice that Mr. Chowdhury actually is trying to portray to us here, is that the making of the advert is an essential part of your marketing.
Yes.
You know, the making has to have the right message at the right time with the right ingredients in
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
And there is a tendency, I mean, we have to come out of it. I mean, in England, I mean, any companies, for a 30-second advertisement, they spend a huge amount of money. Even in Bangladesh, they spend about £100,000 for advertisement. I know, as a matter of fact. But in England, it's probably 300, 500, maximum £1,000 or 1,500. I mean, this is the unfortunate side of it. But what I say, that the more money you spend, the quality will be, of course, better.
Of course, yeah.
And you can employ more time, design, you can pay for your models, and then, so I would request that people should consider spending a bit money, because you are spending the money on the broadcasting anyway. So it is important that you create your product with a little bit of care and compassion as well.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, the other question was, may we now go back to the basic principle of marketing itself. What is branding, and can you expand on the issue of branding and advertisement and how the two correlates?
Okay, thank you. Now, all the things that we said today in terms of TV advertising, local shop, national shop, ideally what the whole advertisement package and plan is working is building up that brand, that product, that name, and making that name, that product name, a memorable item for people, so that people can think about it. Okay. Now, branding is something which actually, a brand explains the product. A brand explains the status of that product, what it is, how it is, what is the quality of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So actually, through advertisement, you are actually creating a brand of your shop. I mean, sometimes, for example, brand can become like such thing that people can start using this brand as a kind of verb. For example, Uber, for example. We say, I want to Uber, but Uber was actually a product, isn't it? I mean, we say Google it. Google is a product. But we say, do you have an AA membership? Now, AA is a product, but actually what they're trying to say, do you have a breakdown cover?
Yeah.
So, but AA has come to this point, Google has come to this point. One, through a lot of advertisement. AA has advertised throughout the whole year, everywhere you look, and through their service. So if you can advertise at the same time you maintain your service delivery, then one day it could become, your product could become a verb. People will start using it as a kind of a natural item, you know, they need it. So I think that branding is essential, of course. I mean,
Very important, yeah.
I mean, if we look back, actually, although over the years, I mean, we are now 2017, everything has advancement, everything is advanced, we are thinking. But some of the things, we are still using the whole old theory, the branding, advertisement, understanding people's motive of selling, everything actually old. I mean, one of the old motive is that that still people are using is show me first,
Yeah.
let me see. I mean, that is something. I mean, if you go to anybody and you want to sell anybody, first thing people say, let me see it. Now, through advertisement, you are meeting that requirement. You are showing them your shop. You are showing them your product, how it works. You are showing them what service you're providing. So, if you can remember when we were in Bangladesh in particular, or even in this country as well, in the street, a lot of street jokers, they used to sell, for example, toothpaste,
Yeah.
Bangladeshi style toothpaste, or medicine for headache or medicine for stomachache. And I can remember this, I will never forget this scene, that in our village where we were, this man, he used to bring egg from the mouth and from his stomach, and then all this caricature. But end of the day, he was selling some powdered toothpaste. But I still remember that moment, the funny way he was presenting the whole case of it. So similarly, if we translate that incident and that caricature, actually we are doing all the caricature.
Exactly
I
the
mean,
same,
imagine the big advertisement. We are doing all the caricature, shouting, screaming, but we're telling and selling something.
Oh, that's interesting. Actually, it's very true. And when we're making advertisement, depending, to be honest, it doesn't even depend what sort of marketing, whichever marketing we're doing,
Yes.
whichever literature we're creating, we need to put in what, when, why,
Yes.
who.
Who you are.
You
Yes.
know, these are the important ingredient information that
Yeah.
needs to be in all your marketing. Um,
Definitely.
and in terms of visual marketing, how, very quickly, because we're actually coming to the end of the show, how would you portray that, in terms of visual graphic
I
marketing?
mean, visual graphic marketing, I always say to every business that you have to have a color, have to have a branding idea into your marketing. Even if you don't have one, you need to create one. For example, I mean, if you go to a restaurant and you see there's a color combination and they have a one certain color. Same with any company, if they have got a logo or they have got a certain color in their logo, they need to maintain that. And when somebody is making the advertisement, it is very important they respect that. I'm recently creating an advertisement for a company who is selling online money transfer, but this company has their own color combination, so we have to try to put that color into everywhere, every font used.
Okay.
I mean, simple thing people don't look at. I mean, it is very important that, for example, the font that you are using, that is suitable and soothing for that product. It has to be very, very carefully thoughtful. And sometimes you don't write too much. I know we put a telephone number, and the telephone number comes in a different shapes, but we have to be really, really thinkful. Do we need to put the telephone number at the beginning or the last? Do we need the address being said? Because one address, saying an address could take about 2, 3, 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So do I need to do that, or shall I say something else?
Yeah,
A
I've also
tagline.
realized, sometimes people use color coordination, color using the color wisely of the
Absolutely.
branding color of
Yeah.
your actual corporate color.
Absolutely.
Using
Corporate color.
it sends all sorts of messages.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we've come to the end of the show.
Yeah,
Thank you
sure.
very much for being onto the show, and thank you, guests, viewers, for coming onto the watching the show. So once again, thank you,
No,
Mr.
thank you,
Mahmood
and thank
Chaudhary,
you
for
to the
your
audience as well, yeah.
very informative, well spoken, and we really enjoyed
Thank you
actually
very
the
much.
information you've given. Okay, viewers, thank you very much once again for watching Business Today. Today we did try and cover as much as possible we can with the issue of marketing on TV. It is important, and many local and national businesses can benefit from it. Viewers, we are coming to the end of the show, very tight with the timing today. Please do remember you can watch our shows on YouTube. You can go on our Facebook pages and leave messages in terms of how we can improve the Business Today show or what other ideas you have. If you do know of anybody who's very successful in the world of business, then please be in touch with NTV. Once again, I'd like to thank the full NTV team and also thank Fashu, the coordinator of Business Today show. Thank you very much for watching. See you, and until next time, Business Today, business is Business Today.